Hello everybody and welcome to Effective Changes for Equality in Leadership. My name's Pushpa Vaghela and I currently live in Australia near Brisbane. I run two organizations. One's called Leaders by Design, actually three. And we have the Leaders by Design specifically focuses on developing leaders for tomorrow. We have the clinical neurocognitive behavioral therapy, which we do on the sideline, where we work in mental health, emotional and social well-being. And then I also have a charitable organization called the Women's Mentoring Foundation. Now, the basis for all these organizations is leadership, whether it starts with self-leadership or leadership in general. Our vision is to create leaders that will only impact the world in a positive way. And our mission is to lead, inspire leadership that will ignite transformation, i.e., once people have the wisdom and the knowledge of exceptional leadership, they become greater human beings. So the transformation is a must. It's done. There is no going back. In today's society, many societies, if they see inequality being practiced, you can mark my word, they're going to go out of their way to do what they can to change the circumstances. We're very fortunate that, well, I am, and I know many of you are, is that we were born in the Hindu background. And in our Bhagavad Gita, it says that everybody that's born is born of equal stature. In fact, my last module for my Ultimate Leadership Mastery program is based on the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. It's inspired renunciation, and it's everything that a leader should be practicing in their day-to-day leadership role. Now, when I talk about leadership, can I ask you all a question? How many of you believe that you are born leaders? We're all born, right? And it's obvious all leaders have to be born to be in this world. So when I talk about born leadership, the fact is that we all are leaders in our own right. We all have the ability to influence. We all have the ability to make decisions, and we all have the ability to take action. And the greatest thing my mentor, John C. Maxwell, says is leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. If you are influencing somebody else in your day-to-day life, whether it's in your personal home life, whether it's in your business or profession, you are a leader. The thing around this is that how are you using your influence, and how are you coming out with it with your characteristics and your attitude? Now, in a world where equality is practiced, like think about our leaders of the past. We've had great leaders that have left high benchmarks for today's generation and the coming generation, that most of us would never even meet that benchmark that they have left us. So we're looking at Indira Gandhi, we're looking at Mahatma Gandhi, we're looking at Nelson Mandela, Mr. King. So many great leaders. And they have left this platform that even if we try to today with all the resources we have, we will not meet their target, which they naturally had coming from a place of their heart. Think about Gandhiji. He believed in equality, non-violence. And even today we have Indra Nooyi. She's the CEO of PepsiCo. Well, I think she's retired now. We have the vice president in the USA. We have Mr. Ambani. All these are great leaders that are influencing people. And then they go on to create leaders that are influencing people. In today's society as well, my friends, it's obvious that like in the olden days, we could all survive on one salary, one income. But that's not the case now with the way that the world is going, and the cost and the expenses and the taxes and the commitments for education and, building our businesses and even our personal development. It's obvious we need two salaries. Hence, both men and women are having to work. And the great thing is that we all get an equal opportunity to study. And what we study is the things that, give us an opportunity in life to apply for bigger roles. Hence, that's why the world is today on an equal basis of providing both genders an opportunity to lead at a higher level. Yes, we know that in many countries or many diverse cultural background, it's still being compromised. However, the world is coming to a place where equality is a must. And Harvard University actually did a research, I think it was a couple of years ago, well, it must be more than a couple of years ago, that people preferred women leaders rather than men leaders. And why? Because they found that women were more empathetic, greater listeners, were understanding, were able to give a flexibility in options of deciding whatever was going on, compared to their male counterparts. And that's not to say that things around that are not changing either, because today, especially after these last 14, 15 months that we've gone through, men are seeking to become leaders on a more holistic level. And that's true here in Australia. And because I teach leadership across the globe, it's so much more becoming the truth around the world. I was invited as a guest speaker on leadership for the pastors conference in India. And it wasn't just pastors and reverends. We had community leaders, we had politicians, we had, people in areas where government was not reaching, and they were asking for leadership skills outside of the theory based. Yes, for them, I base my leadership training on biblical principles. And currently, I'm teaching all the medics in Nepal leadership skills, despite what their profession is, because they feel that their theoretical profession is not giving them enough to lead the communities. One of the organizations that I'm working with is the Sambhavya Foundation, and they work with children around mental health and emotional, compromised mindsets, compromised emotions. And the greatest thing they're finding is leading the classrooms, leading the parents and the teachers. I've had to get them to take a step back and truly become authentic in their leadership and truly become that spiritual person, because that's who we are. Every single one of us, we're surrounded by energy. And yes, we have different beliefs in what our spiritual values are, what our spiritual backgrounds is, but it's evident we're all one energy. And if your intent as a leader is not in a great place, it's truly going to impact the people that you're actually working with, the people that you're influencing. And if you want to try it out at home. Because if you're in a bad mood and you go home, watch the different responses with your family. The same in your office. If you go in your office with a frown, you'll see that, people will sort of hold back from approaching you. But if you go in there with a big smile and you're really happy and your intent in your heart and your soul and your spirit is to make a difference for all the people that you're going to be working with or leading, you'll see that it changes the whole atmosphere around you. So that's just going off on a bit of a tangent, but I just wanted to share an example, is that how you as an individual, man or female, can really make a difference around in your environment and the people that you're with. The other thing, my friends, is that there is no gender at the moment because the world needs great leaders. So we cannot segregate that this role is going to be for guys, this role is going to be for women, and this is going to be, just a mixed role. People are seeking great leadership, and they don't care where you're from or what you're doing. If you're authentic, if you really wanting to make a difference with other people, they are going to follow you. A leader that's on that mountain on his own and his followers are below is not a leader. If you're a leader that's just going, walking, and you've got no followers, then you literally are just taking a walk. The whole thing about leadership is that you have followers. And again, I come back, whether it's in your family and you're looking after your children and your parents and everybody, your siblings, whether it's in your work environment and you're leading your teams or you're influencing them as part of that team, or you're working with your management, whether it's as an entrepreneurial role in your businesses or your organization, you need to have the ability to influence. And the question here comes down to one thing, my friends, is that where are you with your self-leadership? If your self-leadership is not in a great place, or if you're not in a great place of leading you, as in your self-respect, your self-love, your self-characteristics, your attitude, you cannot lead other people. If you do not believe in this, if you do not believe that you have the ability to lead others with the right intent, others will not believe in you either. So you've got to check yourself. What's your attitude like? Where are you living with your emotions? What's your mindset like? Why are you doing what you're doing? Why do you want to work with other people? And why do you want to offer leadership and influence and intent with other people? When I talk about renunciation, one of the modules pointers is that you have to become a leader that comes from a selfless place, as in that your leadership has to come from a place of servitude. So think about this. In the olden days, when it was common for the men to be the breadwinners, the women usually looked after the household. So the women were seen as great leaders because everything they did was in a reflection of servitude, i.e. they served the house, they served the family, they served the children, they served the parents. And the husband or the partner did the same thing when he went out to earn the money. He was earning that money so that he could come home and serve his family and provide for them. So can you see the different levels of commitments and responsibilities? Yet everything was around serving. Many people today actually get scared when they hear the word of, I don't want to be serving, I'm not a servant. Having that servitude attitude, especially as a leader, is probably one of the greatest gifts you have, in addition to humility. And it doesn't matter what your beliefs are. Like, I've taught leadership on coming from Buddhism, coming from the Bible, coming from Jainism, Sikhism, from our own Hindu, and even the Quran. And the greatest thing is humility and being able to serve. And the third thing in there is that you've got to value people. If you do not value people, your leadership is definitely going to be compromised. Hence the reason I said leadership comes with this. You have to value you. You have to recognize your abilities, your skills, your desire to want to make a difference in the world for the right reasons, because then you can influence other people to do the same. And I hope you understand that I'm just pausing there because I know I am a fast talker, and I hope that, I have slowed down my pace specifically for this video, because I know it's, for me, I usually do live webinars and live events, more so online this year. By July last year, we had impacted over 100,000 people online, and it's still going. Thank God for technology, that whatever we were doing, it was on a voluntary basis, and we wanted to reach out as many people, especially in the areas where government or aid was not reaching out to. But even if they had a little bit of internet, we made it happen. We were in places where the lights would go off, they'd have a little bit of generator going on so they could still hear my voice. And the training was 24/7, irrelevant of whatever time zone it was. That, my friend, is my commitment with the skills that I've been blessed with the gifts that I've been blessed with. I know I've been given them for a reason, and it all boils down to my ability to lead other people and influence other people for the betterment. Now, I'm just conscious of the time because I know this video was going to be about 20 minutes. I have shared a lot. Please don't worry, because the way our neurosystem works, and many of you know that I mentioned that I do clinical neurotherapy, hypnotherapy. We work with cognitive behavior, the psychology, etc. of how our neurosystem works. Everything I've shared, if you've heard it once, is definitely going to go into your neurosystem. It's going to be embedded there. Second time you listen to it, it's just going to make it stronger, because consistency really makes a difference when you're coming from a learning point of view. And one value add is that when you're learning something, my friends, always learn as if you're going to have to teach it to somebody else. It makes the learning stronger. Now, I hope this video has really made a difference to all those who are listening to it, or to all those who are hearing the messages from it. I could have made a load of notes, but usually when I'm doing leadership training, because I'm a person of faith, I always ask my higher purpose to come through me to meet the needs of the people that I'm working with, and praying that all their answers are met, even if it's one answer, and it's going to really give you all that you need to become a greater leader and become a better person in all that you do, then so be it. But my friends, start with the self-love and your self-leadership, because once you have this in this golden bubble that's perfect for you, and you accept yourselves and you acknowledge the gifts and the journey that you've had and your experiences that you have, you then can share that energy and that ability with other people. I've got a couple of questions that I'm going to answer. Now, these are common questions, so I want to ensure that I can share the answers with you, because I know it will help you. And I thank you for your patience, because I will read the questions off here. So one of the questions was that there's a lot of, there seems to be a great deal of confusion over the differences between leadership and management. And I'll just share a couple of points what the differences are, because there is still, even if we look at, the people that are in dignitary positions, that most of them are managers still. They haven't got this leadership role concept, and they still appear to be managing it. It's a good, if you want to be a great leader, it's great to observe other people and see what's working well and what's not, and what you believe can be improvised, or what you can do better. So leaders and managers are long-term thinkers, and that's it, that usually the leader manager thinks beyond the daily crisis. Yes, they are in the present moment, but they're already thinking of a strategy beyond the crisis. The second thing is that leader managers' interest in their company or wherever they're at, it doesn't just stop there. They'll go outside of their way. They'll go outside of their current environment to see what else can we do? How else can we improve our leadership? How else can we improve things in our organization? Leader managers they emphasize heavily on their values and their missions, and where the outcome is for the whole organization, even for your family. So say, for example, you're arranging a trip with your family. The leader manager is going to be focused on the outcome, and the outcome might be that it's a great family day. We're going to enjoy some time. And when he or she has identified that, they will then start putting in the steps to close that gap to make that outcome happen. The fourth one is that leader managers have strong political skills. And why I say that is that they have the ability to deal with conflicts irrelevant of the situation. And they won't settle for the status quo. They'll always be looking to do something that's going to improve things, and so it will be better for everybody in general as a whole. The other question I had was, just going to go through here. is that, or I put it, okay, so I mentioned earlier that leaders come from the heart, not the head. And one of the true practices that you could ask yourself is that when you are making a decision, did you have an initial gut feeling and then you went into your head? And many of us do. We get this automatic feeling and then we think that, oh no, it's going to be this, it's going to impact that person's not going to be impressed, and then we dilute that whole decision. So my friends, if you get a gut feeling, write it down first and then start putting in your logical mind and see if it will work or not. Don't knock that initial feeling. Leaders always come from the heart. You come from the heart, you'll value people, and you have to love unconditionally. One thing I pray for every morning is that my ability to unconditionally love everybody is never compromised, that I am always blessed with wisdom and grace, and that everything I do in my leadership role will always come from a place of humility, i.e., no ego or arrogance. We're all different. We're all unique. I cannot be you. You cannot be me. So comparing me to other people, it's not going to change anything. However, I can use other role models, whether it's a man or a female. I can use the tools and resources they're using. I could probably bring it. I could have a look and see, can I implement them in my leadership role? Can I use them? And maybe you can, so that's okay. But don't bring yourself down to be always comparing and putting yourself down. We're all unique. We've been blessed with unique abilities. So see what yours are first and acknowledge them. Don't knock yourself down. You are a leader. You have the ability. And whatever your beliefs are, whatever your cultural background is, know that you can do this. You can reach out to me if you need any more support on this. I know I've probably gone over a couple of minutes. Our email, I'll give you the general one. It's info@leadershipbydesign.com.au. We are on social media, and if you need any other support to follow up on this video, then please do. I apologize if I've said anything that may be inappropriate to some of you. I hope the content makes sense. And I just want to say that I hope that even if it's one thing that I've shared here today, that it will make a difference for you as a leader, and that hopefully you can use this value add and share it with others. So the vision I mentioned at the beginning is that we only develop leaders who will compound the value add that we share with them so that they make a positive difference in the world. Thank you for joining me, and I just want to say namaste, and I hope that our paths cross again soon. Thank you.